as we know, the release of Battlefield 4 was fairly bad. The game has a lot of problems, and DICE's community image is very bad at the moment. So let's have a community discussion of what should DICE do to make amends with the Battlefield 4 community. Hello everyone, this is Noodle, and today I am here with a community discussion. Noobs, trolls, and people who just want to hate and anger rant, get the hell out of here, you freaks. This is an adult discussion about Battlefield 4, DICE, and what DICE should do to repair their community image. What should they give back to the community to prove that they are, indeed, they love the community as much as we love their games, or try to in the case of Battlefield 4, although it has a lot of problems, which we will discuss. I want to start first by saying, all of you who have subscribed, I should say most of you, know that I'm not just some troll sitting behind a computer. I'm a businessman, I own a couple businesses, and I do have experience with this stuff. I don't own a multinational company with billion-dollar titles, that is for sure. I want to say that no company, and this includes DICE, wants their product to come out and be as bad as Battlefield 4 has come out as. With that being said, their community image is very tarnished at the moment. Their stock is down. The EA stock was down after the Battlefield 4 release. I haven't looked at it recently, but I know it was down, I think it was like 7 or 8%, which definitely stemmed directly from the Battlefield 4 release and the kind of problems it had from the get-go. A lot of players couldn't play it. They're getting bad press everywhere. I mean, it only takes one search of Google, YouTube, or anything to realize that there are problems with Battlefield 4. And this isn't good. Battlefield, pretty much all the releases have been billion-dollar games. They make over $1 billion. I haven't seen the final numbers on Battlefield 4, but of course they're not final because the game is still selling, it's still rather new. These are big money titles. And to have as many angry gamers that have purchased this game and experienced tons and tons of crashes, the so-called netcode problems, where the latency is so bad that they're just not syncing up well and people are trade killing each other, and you know what they are. I mean, if you're here watching this, you've seen the problems. Another problem is half the maps give you like really low FPS, half the maps give you great FPS, just really unoptimized game. Some players can't even play the game. That's another problem they're having. Although, you know what, a lot of players can't play the game, but I'm sure some of the complaints are indeed the actual user's fault. Battlefield 4 is a really computer-intensive game. It is next-gen. It takes a really good computer to run it. You're not going to run this game on a GTX 260 with some crappy old processor. You need a decent computer to run this game, or else go for a console. You know what? This is a big problem. I mean, in Battlefield 3, for example, I used to love playing Team Deathmatch. I used to love running around in Conquest as an infantryman. But in Battlefield 4, I almost never do that anymore. I absolutely love Armored Warfare. Armored Warfare is one of my specialties. I pretty much do exclusively Battlefield 4 for the simple fact that the problems that are having in game makes infantry combat kind of unfun. It's hard to go play Team Deathmatch or one of the infantry-based maps because you can't exactly rely on the fact that your bullets are going to A, hit the target, B, you're going to have a fair shake when it comes to shooting at someone at the same time and the bullets hitting him and hitting you with the latency and netcode problems. It's pretty hard to go play that. It just becomes frustrating. You know what? Infantry combat is a big part of Battlefield. Way more people play as an infantryman as they do in vehicles. Way more people focus on infantry than they do vehicle combat. If this was my business, I quite frankly would be flipping the frick out. I mean, all this bad press, from your main users. Your main users I would say your heavy users. Not like drug addicts, but people who play your game a lot, love your game, can't wait for them to come out, who are there at midnight waiting for the release of Battlefield 4, or up at midnight, like I was, hitting that download button. Actually, we actually got to preload the game, but at midnight you got to play the game. So getting up early, playing the game, you know, those are your heavy users. And when you really make those kind of people mad, I know if I made all my good shoppers mad at one of my businesses, I wouldn't be in business too long. But you know what? This is a billion-dollar game, and the ramifications are just magnified when you have a bad release like this. That being said though, DICE is indeed flipping out. EA has kind of put them in the corner and told them to fix their game. All their DLCs are on hold. I know Second Assault was supposed to come out early last month, and we just kind of got word that it might come out in February. You know what, that's fine. As long as Second Assault comes out and it's a good DLC, there aren't bugs, I'm not going to be able to drive through rocks with my tank or die if I step on a certain place on the map. That would be perfectly fine if they just put stuff on hold. With all that hogwash about what's wrong with the game, everybody knows what's wrong with the game. If you've done any kind of search, you've had any kind of problems, you have most certainly come across the problems that people are having with the game. Let's look at some ideas. What should DICE do moving forward to prove that they do indeed love the community, they do indeed want to make amends with the community, and they really want to make Battlefield 4 as good as we all believe it can be, and it just hasn't been yet. One of my first ideas is, I think they should announce, and of course they would have to announce this to make it effective, that they're redoing the game. Yes, redoing the game and announcing, hang on, give us a couple months, we are going to go through the game, we are going to completely revamp it, we're going to make sure that the game works perfectly fine, we're going to test the crap out of this, we're going to hire people and test this thing until we're blue in the face to make sure it works, and then at said time, when the game comes back out, when they're done with it, they can release it and we can all re-download the game. That, yes, will piss a whole bunch of people off, but you know what? It'll make a whole bunch more people happy when they're not coming around the corner and getting one-shot killed by somebody with a pistol. The second idea I have for DICE to repair their image with the community is, yes, you still have to redo the game, but give us a little love here. Come out and say, you know what? We're going to give you guys another DLC. We didn't announce it from the beginning because we thought this game was going to be amazing. I'm sorry. This game came out. It's our fault. It sucked from the beginning. We know it. We're sorry. You know what? We got a bunch of people on it. We're making you guys another DLC. You know what? We'd even be happy if you just brought back some of the old maps. I know a lot of players are like, why isn't No Shire Canals in there? Or why isn't Carn Island in there? But you know what? Make them good. Make them work. Just make this game work. That's the biggest thing. Another thing they definitely have to do is to promise, and I mean promise, to never release another game like this. Never release a game that's just this unfinished, where it's like, did you guys even test it? I know they have a lot of employees. They have got to be able to sit down on their internal DICE LAN server there and test this game out. And it wouldn't take 3 rounds for them not to be all like, what the heck? We gotta redo this, guys. We can't release this game like this. And yeah, I know EA puts pressure on them. I know there's a lot of pressure to get this game out. They wanted to get it out before Call of Duty Ghosts, which, you know what, Call of Duty Ghosts, just like Modern Warfare 3, which I bought and played for about 2 weeks, you could pretty much call it beforehand. The game was gonna suck. And I haven't played Call of Duty Ghosts because I'm not gonna buy it because I got so turned off by Modern Warfare 3 that I'm never going back to that. You know what, that's a problem DICE is going to have. They're going to get people coming from Call of Duty who played Black Ops 2 and were like, yeah, this is no different from Modern Warfare 3, no different from Modern Warfare 2. You know what, I like Call of Duty 4 the best, and they're going to come to Battlefield 4 and be like, this game is bad. They're going to have that same problem and lose new people. And to go along with their promise that they're not going to release another game like this, when their next game comes out, Battlefield, whatever it's called, whatever the next main big title that comes out, they really have to give some testing. They have to do a longer alpha period, have a really long beta period, because you know what, this beta was not a beta. This beta came out, and instantly I was like, there is something wrong with this thing. It was really hard to play. I was running a high-end system, and I'm getting terrible frame rates on low settings. It was obvious. This thing was in shambles. And I predicted back then, like, there's no way they're going to get this game up and going in 2 weeks to get it to the level of just where Battlefield 3 was. But they had 2 weeks after the end of the beta. And as a businessman, I know that 2 weeks with a big deadline coming up, there's no way those people are going to be able to fix anything in the game in 2 weeks. Anything major and substantive. Because they have a lot of just end polishing to do. A lot of, I'm sure, just little things that they have to do because there's this huge billion-dollar release coming up, that their next big title's coming out. They pretty much, the game came out as a launch, there was some things fixed, but as we all know, there's huge problems with it. Another thing I think they need to do for the next release, or even for now, is, you know what, they're a $1 billion title, double your staff. Like I said, I'm a businessman, I know that there are a lot of unseen money that it takes to run a business, to operate a business, that really people who have never owned a business, never operated a business, you really, I hate to say this, you can't understand. Until you have a brick and mortar business, you cannot understand how much it costs to run a business. But you know what? When you have this much money on the line, riding on this title, and it's reflecting on your next title that's coming out, double your staff, announce it to the community, and say that we're never going to do this to you guys again. With that all being said, if they don't do this, what must we as a community do? We spend a lot of money on our systems, on our computers to run this game. I mean, thousands of dollars per person worldwide to run Battlefield 4, and that's consoles, PCs that run up to, jeez, you can spend 10 grand on a PC if you want, and then really the minimum you can spend on a PC to run Battlefield 4, I mean, you might be able to get away with an $800 PC if you're choking it down a little bit, lower the graphics, but really you're spending close to $1,000 just to play this game. I mean, yes, the game itself, with premium, costs about $100. Spending a lot of money to play this game, and it comes out, and it's like this, that's a big problem. And if they really, like, the next title comes out, and they don't fix it, we really need to make a statement. You need to not buy it, quite honestly, until it's fixed. And again, to reiterate, we all love this game. The only reason we are complaining about this is because we love this game. We want Battlefield 4 to be as good as it can be. Because, you know what, even with all the problems, Battlefield 4 is still amazing. It is still the best game on Earth. Still the best first-person shooter game I've played. It is awesome. It's a fun game to play. But you know what, there's just a lot of headaches. There's a lot of problems with this game. And there's just some things that DICE can do to make amends with the community. My name is Noodle. I'd like to invite all you guys. This isn't what I normally do. I normally do tactics. I do how-to guides and do hardcore Battlefield 4 strategy on a daily basis to try to teach the Battlefield 4 community how to be better players, try to improve it as a whole. I don't do this for myself. I don't make any money doing YouTube. It's just for fun. It's a hobby, and I try to help the community out. I invite you all to subscribe. But until next time, my name is Noodle, and always remember, use your noodle.